All right, so I've got the primary cover off. Obviously the gasket needs to be replaced. I've got a new one of those. So my primary concern was all the gunk that I noticed in here, and that doesn't look very good. I don't want that getting into my oil, and this is not a sealed primary, so this will eventually run the oil back into the engine again, but I don't see, there is some what looks like fresh engine oil in here, so I assume that we actually are getting lubrication. I'll have to check chain tension specs in the manual. I'm pretty sure this is where the shifter goes through with mid controls, and this has been switched over to forward controls, which I don't really prefer, but that's the way it is. I'll probably leave it like that for now at least, but this has been all, I believe, siliconed up so that it won't leak from that. I have pulled some of it out, but I haven't gotten it all out of there. I'm going to push it through with something and get it out of there, and then I may come up with some kind of a seal, maybe a bolt with a O-ring. But I want to clean up all the gunk out of here because I don't want this to end up in my engine oil because it looks pretty nasty, and replace the gasket as well. So that's the project. And this is probably one of the last things before I think it's probably ready to try and maybe even ride it a little bit. I also noticed that I'm missing a bolt down here, so I got to replace that as well. Kind of clean this thing up, get the cover back on with a brand new gasket, and hopefully we'll be able to take this out for a little bit of a ride and see how it's going. I also would like to start this up with this open and just verify I'm getting lubrication coming through for the chain. It does seem to have a little bit of clean oil in the bottom here, so I'm assuming that we are. Any oil coming out of that at all. Like none. I don't know how fast that's supposed to come out of there. I would have expected to see some by now though. There's no oil. Oh wait, there we go. There we go. There's a drip. Doesn't seem like very much though. I don't know if that's normal or not. Maybe that's normal. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments. Alright. Whew. She's loud. Alright, so I got the little silicone plug out of that hole there where the shifter would have gone through for the mid controls, and I got this blue gunk. This is our siliconed up crap. So I got that out, so you can now see daylight through the hole there. I don't know how I'm going to get that sealed up, so I'm still looking into that. Alright, we got a bolt that fits roughly into that hole. It's a little bit big, the hole for the bolt, but it's pretty close. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get the O-ring. I already lost one O-ring behind the primary trying to do this, so I'm going to try and get the bolt in and get the O-ring on the back, and then I've got a nut that will thread on from the back, and we should be okay. I'm going to get a, oh, I forgot to bring it out. I'm going to go get a little bit of Loctite, because the last thing I want is for this bolt to loosen up and end up in my primary. So I'm going to go get some Loctite real quick. I'm going to try to get this in there, get the O-ring on it, and then I'll see if I can drip a little bit of lube. Maybe I'll just get some on my finger, get it on the threads, or maybe I'll put it on the threads in the nut instead and thread it on there. All right, there's the, you can see the edge of the O-ring. Trying to get it down there. All right, so if I get the bolt through, hopefully I can work that onto the end of the bolt with my one little finger that I can get on there. All right, remarkably enough, yes, that's working. I was able to, you can't see what's going on, I can't see what's going on, but it does seem that I was able to get that on there. Now, question now becomes, can I get the nut down there the same way? I think I need to actually back this up a little bit. All right, camera's back. I don't know how much of that I lost. So I have my magnet with my nut stuck to her, and now I'm going to drop this down behind, hopefully get this lined up right, get it threaded onto the end of this nut with the O-ring that's already on there. I wonder if I can get, you guys in to see what I got going in down here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. I'm going to be able to see the O-ring on there. That's what we got down there. No idea if you can see what's going on or not in there. But, so, bag net. Looks like it's on it. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I got it cross-threaded. It's not on there straight. Oh, all right, backed it off a little bit, and now it's on there straight. Good, good, good. All right. So, I forgot the Loctite. Shit. All right, I forgot the Loctite. Loctite's important in this application. So, I think I'm going to try to do is reach down there and push the O-ring back with a screwdriver. I'm going to drop a little bit of Loctite onto this guy. It actually worked, surprisingly enough. And clean my screwdriver off and get some Loctite onto the end of the screwdriver. And I'm going to drip that that also worked. What do you know? All right, things that actually worked today. Something's going to go horribly, horribly wrong. I don't think she needs to be super tight. So I don't want to crush the hell out of that O-ring. But I also don't want it to ever come out. All right, well, there's a nut back there. Let's see how, yeah, I actually got a little bit. I'm going to drop a little bit more Loctite on the end of that. See if we can just drip it down here. I don't know how much good that'll do, but better than nothing, right? Okay, so now we have got the hole filled. Gonna finish cleaning up the rest of the mess, get the new gasket out of my parts trailer, and reassemble, and hopefully we'll have you know, relatively leak-free. It's a Harley, so you know, if it drips a little bit, kind of par for the course. But that is better than this mess that was in there that could shed chunks of itself into the oil and end up causing me major problems down the road. So I'm going to clean all the rest of this up, get the cover back on, and then we're done here. This didn't clean up quite as well as the other side, but that's pretty much as good as I can get. It feels pretty smooth. run your finger along, so that I think the sealing surfaces are all right. And I got the gunk off for the most part. Missed a spot there, it looks like. I think I'm going to start hunting for a new cover, because I am really not happy about this repair that was done. You can see all the little spatter. I don't know if you can see on the video, spatter all over this thing. I'm just concerned that something might be liable to break loose here and end up in my oil. Although I think I'd rather have little chunks of metal in my oil than chunks of silicone like we're all stuck in here. Anyway, I'm not happy about the condition of this cover. Lots of damage that's been repaired, so I'm going to start hunting around for a new one, I think. But in the meantime, going to put this back on with the new gasket, and we're going to go with it for now. Okay, last thing on the Shovelhead today, I got the connector I got from J&P Cycles. Hopefully, put it in gear here, turn it on, should have no light, and then, hey, all right. And my LED lights actually do work. They're not perfect. I have to get their positioning a little bit better. And they don't diffuse quite well enough through these lenses, so you can kind of see the little LEDs. And I haven't created anything for the generator light yet. I got to come up with some kind of circuit for that, but haven't done that yet. But that's it for the day. Cover's back on for the primary. All the gunk is out of it. Got the little bolt in there. I don't know if you can see down there, probably not. A little bolt down there, the little nut with the O-ring on the back, Loctite on it. So I'm going to try taking this for a ride down the dirt road and see how she does, I think, hopefully with the pogo seat, which is pretty stiff, and the swing arm suspension. Hopefully this thing will be able to go down the dirt road instead of having to go on the trailer to get it out to the street like the Sportster, because the Sportster is just way too rough down the dirt road. But maybe this one, a little extra with this pogo seat and the swing arm suspension, hopefully this will actually make it down the dirt road. But that's it for the day. I think we're pretty close. The brakes still need work. The front brakes, when I was pulling this out of the house and putting it on the lift here today, I used the front brakes and they did not do very much. The back brakes, they do work. So I don't know. I did take this apart, and it looked like the pads were okay, but the adjustment was way out, so I adjusted the slack on the cable here with the adjuster, and I've got some pressure, but they didn't do very much, so I don't know if I need to take this apart. The drum looked pretty glazed, so maybe I need to resurface the drum a little bit so I get a little bit better brakes, but for now it's good enough to go down the dirt road and test. So all right, done for the day. All right, so ignition off, full choke, couple of kicks, give it 3. Kick the ignition on. Oops. Kick the ignition on. Starts pretty good. Alright, we're going to go for a little ride around the neighborhood. I hope. See how it goes. sitting there idling with no choke on. Look how pretty they are sitting next to each other out in the sun.